10 seconds to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up.
What's good, Warrensville? This is Ray Freeman, 1981 graduate, current vice president of Warrensville Heights City School District. I want you to tune in to What's Good, Warrensville.
What's good, Warrensville? Glad y'all can make it today for my season finale. Yep, that's right. We're going to take some time to put some shows in the can, make sure that they're all, prepared and, kind of troubleshoot some of the issues that may arise, during a normal production schedule when a guy's full-time like myself. So, and not to doing this, but I'm doing this out of the love of my heart. And because of that, it brought me to a brilliant time where I actually I had ran a piece on Aaron Kirkpatrick, and Lonnie Coleman watched it. My man, Lonnie Coleman, said, man, that was a great piece. He said, you can interview one of my guys, you know what I'm saying? And he could tell you about some of the things that we're doing to give back to students in the Warrensville system. And I said, well, that would be great, but you're an alumni. You know what I'm saying? I would like to talk to you, if that's possible. So he opened up the doors and made everything beautiful for me. And Lonnie, I just want to say, man, it's been a pleasure spending, the last couple days with you. Just, a look into your world, a look into that. We had so much material that I could not possibly put it into this broadcast. I mean, we just had so much. He gave me so much access, which I truly appreciate. And Lonnie, I hope I did you right, man. I'm just going, oh, by the way, there's something Lonnie wanted you to see. It's kind of dope. This is a side of Lonnie a lot of y'all haven't seen before. I think y'all need to check that out because it's kind of crazy. Homeboy on the run. Check it out.
This is Coleman, in pursuit, code 33. Understood. I'm westbound, just crossed my bridge to success. Dispatch, do you copy? I know. Tell Gentili I'll be there in 5. I ran into a little hurdle with my script for the president's remarks. The ups and downs of the contracting business. Whoa, man, that was close. Closer than Mark Rogers' haircut. San Francisco, but I'm gonna love this dim sun in a minute. All right, got my stuff. Dim sun. Man, I love San Francisco. now, give me a break. Don't you know where I am? I'll be there. No, there's no problem with my president's remarks. I just have to finish one bullet.
Coming at your mouth with your blah blah blah.
Just you and me, simple and free. Baby, you're everything I ever dreamed of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Man, where the heck am I at? I hope my bonding agent doesn't find out about this. Hey! Give me back my script! Or at least tell me which way to the Marriott.
When they say the name Lonnie Coleman or they say the name Coleman Spohn, they'll think that when they say the name Lonnie Coleman or they say the name Coleman Spohn, they'll think that here's a guy that never thought about just himself. He always thought about everyone else and those things he could do to help grow and develop and enhance other people. It wasn't a selfish thing with him. He took advantage of an opportunity that was presented to him, and he tried to make that opportunity that he had available to others. Okay, now whether they really took advantage of it and pursued it, that's on them. But if he opened that door for you and you wanted to walk through it with him, he was going to do everything in his power to help you succeed, okay? And I want to be remembered of doing just that he loved his community. He wanted to help that community grow and prosper. He wanted to do his part. He would put his resources behind what he wanted to do to make that community develop and grow and prosper. He wanted to take kids from that community and expose them to other than small worlds, okay? He wanted them to see the bigger picture, the global picture, to be able to have success in their lives. Because it made him feel wonderful and very happy to see someone come from this spot to get to this spot, and he had something to do with that. That's the legacy I want. I want to see Coleman Spohn just go on to into the future and become bigger and better. And I don't have to be here to do that. You know, if somebody may come along and want to buy it, someone may come along and be a part of the organization to help it grow. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm not going to live forever. You know, I just want to be remembered for doing the right things, and as a person that has helped others in some exposure or being able to have some success too. And that's what's important. Okay, I don't need to have it all. Don't want it all. But let's share some of that prosperity.
Well, my name is Sean Williams. I am a proud alumni graduate of Warrensville Heights High School, class of 1976. Go Tigers, Tigers for life. This is somewhat of an interview about Lonnie Coleman. Big time contractor, great mentor. Actually met Lonnie. He is married to a cousin of mine. So that's how we originally met. They got married, I want to say, when I was a young tight. I want to say I was maybe about 13. So Lonnie's been like a part of my life, like a big brother, kind of slash uncle slash father figure my whole life, which I'm very, very fortunate and grateful for that relationship. I can honestly tell you, I was like, I hate to say it, but I was like a prodigal son, right? I went through life, man, with confusion, you know, probably doing things I shouldn't have been doing, things I'm definitely not proud of, but grateful God brought me through. And today life is good. But I can honestly tell you, Lonnie Coleman was a big part of that. I was kind of lost as an adult after high school, not really knowing what I was going to do, you know, and luckily for me, I had Lonnie to help me get into a construction trade, which he is a contractor, big time contractor, mechanical contractor, and his company, which I was a part of, we do what they call pipe fitting, that's HVAC, and they do plumbing and sheet metal, a lot of HVAC, a lot of construction work. Was grateful and lucky to be on a lot of big jobs, you know. Lonnie helped me get into building trades, and which was the best thing that ever happened to me, plain and simple. Anybody have opportunity to learn a trade, it's a wonderful way to make a decent living. It really is. I learned so much from him, how he deals with people and how he never judges people. That's one thing I learned from him, and how he likes to give people opportunities, especially minorities. He always looked out for, you know, I can think of numerous family members that he got in the trade. I can think of 7 offhand, plus other people, you know, that people came to Lonnie and he, you know, helped them get in the building trade. So he's always giving back, which I always admired about him. And learning from him, being in the trade, I ended up being a foreman for his company while I was working. I retired early. I retired at 58, man. I would have never thought that would have been possible, you know, back in the day. But because of the opportunity that was given to me, I was able to retire at 58 years old. I've been retired 4 years. You know, house paid off, which is a miracle. Never thought that would have been possible. You know, and you know, I really owe it to Lonnie. I really do. I thank God. I think about that a lot too. Just how, because when I first met him, when he was dating my cousin, she was living with us, and he was just getting into the trade. So I seen it, you know, materialize, the whole thing. I seen him go from an apprentice. You know, I was a young teenager at the time, and I seen him, you know, make his moves. I saw him start his company. I saw the work that he put into it. Plus, you know, Fran, his wife, she was always there, and they did it together. And so I seen how all that can materialize if you just have the vision and put in the work. So, you know, I'm just grateful to have seen that and know that it could happen. The company was like a family. You know, not everyone there was in the family. It was his brothers, his other cousins, but all the people that worked for Coleman Spohn, they were all like family. And he treated everybody like family. And if you didn't know who he was, if you were sitting in the room with him, you just think he was just the average guy next door. You really would. Shawn Williams, proud graduate of Warrensville Heights High School, class of 1976. Proud retired pipe fitter from an excellent company owned by Lonnie Coleman called Coleman Spohn Corporation. And I just want to say, what's good, Warrensville?
What's good, Warrensville? That's my man right there. Just kicking a little bit about his mentor, the guy that got him in. I call him an OG of the game because he really, really embraced not only trailblazing, but he embodied, exemplified even, the spirit of bringing up those standing on, you know, the standing on his shoulders. So this man is a true soldier of the game. Appreciate you, Lonnie. I want you to go back, Lonnie, and tell us a bit about growing up here in Warrensville?
I went into Warrensville High School in April of 1965, and it was a different experience. At the time, I was the 5th black person in Warrensville Heights High School. There were 4 other kids there. There was Clarence and Willie Self that lived on Mayfair, and there was Bonnie Rollins that lived on Wickfield, and there was Luther Demery that lived on Parkton. And so, that's a small group, and that eventually started growing. And I played football, in Warrensville, and the 1 year, because I was out in '66, we graduated. But I went to school with some really great guys who, just say, hey, became very good friends, and I carried a lot of those friendships on. Joe Regano, who just recently passed, was the superintendent of Solon Schools. Well, Joe and I were in the same class, and we played football together. He was a tackle, I was a wide receiver or tight end, lined up next to each other. And, we always had conversations, and tried to stay in touch. And that worked out, really, really well. And then I run into, in the construction environment, and some of the stuff that we've done here in the industry, we run into a lot of graduates from Warrensville Heights, or those who had left the community. Rudy Korsgaard, who was the athletic director at the time, every now and then he would call me, and he would see our name in the paper or something, and he would pick up the phone, and we'd call and we'd have a conversation. He was really, really a wonderful guy, and I think that I read a memorial something on the Warrensville site about Rudy, and everybody just held Rudy Korsgaard in high standards, and he was just a super individual. And another guy that was really great was Bob Mills. Bob Mills was the baseball coach, and he was the football coach. And I'll never forget standing in line at Key Bank in Solon, and Bob Mills was at the teller window taking care of his business and making a transaction, and he turned around and he saw me standing in the line, and he says, "Lonzo?" That's what he called me. Nobody called me Lonnie. And he says, "My, oh my, I am so happy to see." And the whole bank is turning around and looking at us. And he stopped and he told everyone standing in that bank, "This is a fine young man. This young man played football for me, and he was a really good football player. I had his 2 brothers," and he was telling the story. And I'm saying, how you get kind of embarrassed, but great guy, super individual. So Warrensville was a very good experience for me, and like I said, I was there about a year and a half, in Warrensville. But I had 4 other siblings go through the school system as well, and I had a brother played basketball, and I think his rebounding record still stands. I think he had 30 rebounds against Cleveland Heights in the holiday tournament, which back then they had a Thanksgiving holiday tournament, and a bunch of schools come in and played, and he had a rebounding record there. And then my brother Charlie, he was everything at Warrensville. He was a press star. He was a PD dream teamer, and a lot of kids don't even know what that is, But that was when the newspapers, featured the high school kids that had an exceptional game during the week, and they would name them for the Cleveland Press. It was a press star, and then for the PD, it was the PD dream teamers, and so he was all conference in the football, baseball, and basketball. He was the MVP of the team in all 3 sports. He was really, really good. I didn't stay in school long to be able to play.
So your journey came away from like formal, education and
Right.
things of that nature.
That's
because the business world was calling you?
Yes. Well, what happened was, once I completed the apprenticeship program, I saw that there could be more opportunity for us if I wanted to, try and start a business in that industry. And that's what we did. We went through the apprenticeship program and became journeyman tradesmen. And then I did it for 2 years and decided that, hey, let's get together and create this thing. And in '76, we created the Kojai Mechanical Corporation, like I said earlier. And that's what we did. And that's the route we took, to be able to do. But I never stopped going to school, because then I started going to school taking classes more involved with what we were doing in our business. We took classes in accounting, business law, and drawing, engineer drawings, and that kind of stuff, because that was more important to what we were doing and to be able to accomplish what we were trying to get to in our lives back then at that time.
So, continuing with that, that Lonnie is a Hall of Fame member, if you didn't know. He's an inductee into the Warrensville Heights High School Alumni Association Hall of Fame. He's going to tell you a little bit about what that experience was like for him. Kick it.
I was totally surprised when Michelle called me and told me that I had been selected to become a member of the Warrensville Heights Hall of Fame. I mean, I was touched by it. I cried when I was up there speaking. I bawled, but I had to tear because I know the importance of something like that. That means your name is going to be out there forever. Okay, that wall will probably be there forever for Warrensville Heights, and you're going to have something up there. And I was really surprised by it, being selected to be in the Hall of Fame, and I was just so proud. And my parents, they were really, really proud of the fact that they had a son that became a member of the Warrensville Heights Hall of Fame. And when Bradley and Michelle gave me the plaque, I had to tear because I was really, really honored to be able to be selected and be a part of that process. It was very important to me. And as you can see, it's prominently displayed in my office.
Yeah, that is a special honor that only a few of us get to know what that's like. But for a life well lived, a life full of accomplishment, a life full of giving back, a life full of engaging people, caring about people, loving on people, giving them an opportunity to feed their families, creating that infrastructure. There's so many people that he's empowered to do those kinds of things, but it wasn't easy. Lonnie has dealt with some obstacles in his life, things that he had to overcome. He's going to tell you a little bit about that right now.
So do you think that the conditions that led to your entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
if they had been different, and perhaps you just would have been a worker, do you think that is just in you, or do you think it was the conditions that produced you?
My story was a little different. Here's where it put me on the entrepreneurial bend. I was working as a pipe fitter. During my apprenticeship, people would say, well, Lonnie, you're doing the work as a journeyman. You should be getting journeyman's wages, instead of apprentice wages, and you should be a foreman. You could run work. And so my goal was to be a foreman and be able to run work. So and everybody said, you're smart enough to do it. You're working like a journeyman. I mean, you're figuring it all out. You're doing the same thing a journeyman is doing. You should be a foreman, okay? And so my goal was to be a foreman. There wasn't that many of us in the building trades. When I got in, I went in as a second wave of about 18 guys, and there was a wave of about 17 guys that went in before us, because at the time, the federal government was putting pressure on the building trades to accept blacks and other minorities into the building trades, and that's how we came in as a wave. So there was a lot of opportunity to be had by those individuals that came in that first wave to be able to do bigger and better things. And so I thought being a foreman was a bigger and better thing. Little did I know, okay? So what happened was I finished a 5-year apprenticeship, and I'm working on a project on the near west side, and the superintendent for the company came out, and they had always talked about my being a foreman when I got out of my time. And they asked 4 apprentices on that project about being a foreman, and they never asked me. And so I said, okay, I know how to fix this picture, okay? And that put me on the bent that, okay, if this is the way it's gonna be, then I know how to be a foreman. And I didn't realize that going out there to be that foreman by creating your own company. I'd end up being a secretary, a truck driver, an estimator, and all these other things associated with it, and trying to start and operate a business. But that was the push and the impetus that took me down the road. It wasn't just like, well, I'm just going to be in business one day. That's what started me down that road. The denial of being a foreman, and I knew I could do it. They knew I could do it, but the fact that they didn't ask me, to do it. So I said, no, I'm going to fix this, and I'll fix it myself. And that's what happened. But you got to remember the time too, Ryan. We're talking 60s. We're talking late 60s, okay? And we're right in the midst of the movement and all of those things that were going on, and having guys like myself represented into the building trades was new for a lot of those guys. And then, so they were, it was not easy all the time, but we made it work.
Facilities management.
In 1976, a small construction and facilities management company named Cole-John Corporation established its reputation by providing high-quality solutions to governmental agencies such as NASA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the United States Air Force, Army, and Navy. Its growth and development has enabled the Cole-John Corporation to soar to new heights, transforming into the Coleman Spohn Corporation, an integrated engineering, fabrication, construction and maintenance solutions organization, serving diverse industries, both in the government and private sector.
Construction.
Coleman Spohn Corporation is a state-of-the-art, full-service contracting organization, providing estimating services, installation, and service maintenance of building systems throughout the construction industry for public and private clientele.
Disaster recovery.
Property owners, insurance professionals, and risk managers are confident that when they turn to Coleman Spohn Corporation, top-quality contractors will be working to restore their properties to their pre-loss condition quickly and professionally.
People like you accomplishing something and doing some good things. You take a Warrensville education and be able to venture out into the world and do some things. In my case, I come out of Warrensville Heights High School in '66, went to Kent State for about a year, and I was fortunate enough to looking for a summer job, ended up getting into the building trades as a pipe fitter's apprentice, and I joined the apprenticeship program. Then I said, well, this is great money, and so I started going to school part-time instead of full-time, and then did the apprenticeship full-time. And after 5 years of the apprenticeship, worked 2 years as a journeyman pipe fitter, and hooked up with a sheet metal worker who had just recently finished his apprenticeship, and we met as we were building the Cuyahoga Community College campus on Woodland Avenue, all the buildings that went down the Woodland Avenue side, and we created this, got together and created a small company with another guy called Four Seasons, and we were putting in hot water tanks and furnaces and that kind of stuff. It's like a side job, and got an opportunity to create a company when the one guy left, and to do his own thing, and it was just Jim and I, and we decided, well, let's try and do something on our own. So we pulled $10,000 together and created a company called Cole-John Mechanical Corporation. And we started that first year, we had about $56,000 in sales, and Jim and I would go out and do the work where we could, and 'cause we had really no money. We thought 10,000 was a lot of money, but boy, did we find out fast. So we went out and we were trying to build this company. So we went out to a lot of the associates in the industry looking for subcontract work for them and see if we could possibly do some subcontracting things with them. And we got a really great opportunity with the Spohn Corporation, who we later ended up buying their assets and created the company as it stands today, and started doing subcontract work for them on some of the major projects that were going on in downtown Cleveland. We got a break in 1981 where we took over a small maintenance contract at NASA's Lewis Research Center at the time, and we picked up about 26 people operating a steam plant out there. And we really didn't have the money to do the job, and Jimmy and I we got very creative to be able to get that money to cover the payroll every 2 weeks and all, to be able to do it. But we were able to do it, and we were successful doing that. And little did we know at the time that NASA was going to be the impetus of our growth and development as a company. And we ended up with the NASA contract giving us the experience, the knowledge, the expertise, if I may, to be able to create something bigger and better. And that contract grew to about 200 people at that facility. And we did everything, soup to nuts, everything. We were in total control of the operations and maintenance at that facility. And Jim and I looked at this and said, well, you know what? This is a whole lot better than construction. We may want to pursue this opportunity. And that's what we eventually did. Well, see, the beauty of that is that it allows us to have be on two different sides of the spectrum or the table and be able to have the conversation. And we've had to do that on a number of times because if you're not in the room and being a part of the conversation, it's always going to be one way. But when you get into the room, what we bring to the table is a different perspective. You bring a different conversation, okay? And then you get people to understand this is what's taking place and this is what's happening. You know, let's view this from the other side of the table, okay? And then let's see if we can come to an understanding, you know, that way. Because it's a learning experience, okay? If you've never been around white people, or you've never been around black people, then you're gonna have some certain mindsets that being around one another where you can have those conversations and reach an understanding, I think is gonna make a better place for everybody. And we get the opportunity to be able to do that because some of the circles that I've been placed in, I get to have that conversation with people that may make a comment or ask the question or want to know, okay, because they just don't have that much involvement. But today you would think that a lot of them are more sensitive, you know, to certain situations and sensitive to our humanity, if I may, you know, so.
You may.
Okay.
You may. I couldn't help but notice, and I have framed up some of the pictures against the wall. And, you know, one thing I noticed with you is that you actually took your level and you leveled them to make sure that they were straight and neat and, you know, presentable. Mm-hmm. It's that meticulous attention that right. Even no one else can see. If no one else comes in this room today, right. You were going to go in with that level, right. And you were going to make sure those pictures right. were straight. Right. Is that a part of being obsessive compulsive, or is that a part of it's just something that you built? It's your metal. It's something that grew in you, right. Or something you always had?
Well, it's the image we want to present. We always want to present a good image. Now we have vans riding up and down the street, and you know how when you grease the doors, and so that you know, they're not squeaking or anything like that. You know, if you don't wipe that grease off, that dirt is around the hinges. I got behind one of our vans one day on the road, and his hinges were black, okay, from the grease and the dirt built up. And I immediately called the shop and asked, who drives van number X? And he told me, and he called that guy and said, next time you stop that van, clean them hinges off. Because of the image. You want to have a proper image. I mean, who wants us to come in their place doing heating, air conditioning, and plumbing if the trucks are all raggedy, they're falling apart, you know, they're dirty. We want our trucks clean. I tell our guys, man, can that truck get dirty? Go in the car wash, get it clean. We want our trucks clean. We want to look good. We want our building presentable. You know, we have people coming in here, want to do business with us, and we want them to feel comfortable, but they're doing business with the right organization. It's just all about the image that we want to project. We want to have that right image, okay? And that's important. And then I try and get our people to understand that this is how we present ourselves. We always want to be presentable. And when we send our people out to meet with people, we want them to be very presentable. We want people to call us back to do work for us because we're going to do it the right way. And our image is going to be the right image, and it's going to be the proper image to be able to do what we do in our field of endeavor.
So image, this is basically a course in Business 101. I mean, basically anybody who's watching this is getting schooled to the game for real from an insider, a trailblazer, a person who's actually walked the walk and talks the talk. So definitely if anybody is, wise enough to check this out, this is a rare interview that I was blessed to be able to be a part of, and to soak up that atmosphere, and to take something and put it into my life and into my spirit. And I just truly want to thank you for that. There's so many others that have to thank him. Lonnie is a big believer in bringing women aboard. As he says, there's no glass ceilings at Coleman Spohn. He basically feels like, look, if I give you the tools, and I'm willing to give you the tools to empower you, what you do with it is up to you. Check this out.
Well, the construction industry has always been a male-dominated industry. The 60s, you saw a change in diversity in the industry, and then diversity was one thing at that time. Now diversity has become a lot more things, okay, as far as the personnel that operates within the industry. Women came into the building trades, I think back into the 70s, maybe in the mid-70s. You start to see a greater influx of women. I don't know the particular date, but you started to see a big influx, of women coming into the building trades, which made a difference. And so my goal was to, since we were doing what we were doing, is to find a young lady that was coming through the apprenticeship program and groom her to become a foreman for our organization. Foreman was a big deal for me back in the beginning of my time, and let's see if we could get a young lady to become a foreman in the industry. We're doing a project at Metro Health right now, and we have a young lady that's a crew foreman down there, and I am really proud of the fact that she's down there and she's working as a foreman, for us, because there's no glass ceilings at Coleman Spohn Corporation. We'd be hypocrites if we created those kind of things here. So we have a lot of women in the organization that we're trying to do things with, help them in their growth and development. I have a young lady in this building that she came to work from us when she graduated from OU back in the 80s. And she left to have she has 2 kids. One just recently graduated from Cleveland State, and the other one is a junior at Kent State University. So she left to raise her kids, got them once they all started to leave the nest. Then she called me one day, wanted to know if she could come back and work, and I said yes. And she's like my right arm here, and she does everything. And she's here with me late at night. She'll be one of the first ones here during the day, and she works here like she's a part owner of the organization, and which is very important. But we've tried to do our thing to introduce women into the building trades as pipe fitters and plumbers, and we've been successful in getting some young ladies into the trades. In fact, I had one of our trades women go out to Warrensville Heights High School with me a couple of years ago to speak to the senior class about the opportunities of being a pipe fitter or a plumber, and it makes me really proud, to know that I had something to do with that, and trying to get exposure for women in the building trades. And I think it's very important to be able to have that access to the opportunity to be able to do it. Because like I said, they're very good paying jobs. Once you get that journeyman's card, you can go anywhere in the United States and work. And we have associated affiliations with other organizations of mechanical contractors. They're in Canada, they're in Great Britain, they're in Australia that we're affiliated with. You can go almost anywhere, once you got that card. And so it's important, to be able to provide that opportunity. And we have I think on our Metro Health project, we're running about 9% in women on that facility, and which we're proud of. And you'll get an opportunity, a chance to meet her if you would like to visit that facility.
Hi, my name is Kelly Edwards, and I'm the first black female foreman for Coleman Spohn Company. I am honored and grateful for this opportunity. I thank Lonnie Coleman and Tom Campbell for this great opportunity. This is a great accomplishment for me and my family and all the black females and minorities in the construction industry. It means a lot to me to have this opportunity, and I will not take it lightly or diminish this in any type of way. I will run full force with this, and I will show everyone that black people can prosper and do great in the construction industry if given the opportunity. Also, it just makes me think about one of the laborers walked up to me not long before you came, and he asked me if I was Einstein, and I laughed, and I said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "You're a foreman. You up in the lift, you got prints, you carrying material, you're unloading trucks. He said you do everything. And I told him in order to be good in this job and in this industry, you have to be able to do everything. Not just do everything, do it 200%. And I just thank everybody, Lonnie and Tom, for this opportunity. And I will continue to do my best. Thank you.
My name is Fatima Ware. I am the owner of WTD Mechanical. It is an HVAC company. I started my career as a tenor. I went through an apprenticeship and became a journeyman. I then took the test to receive my mechanical contractor's license and opened my own company.
Perfect. Tell me how you came into this arena. You know, it's not a female-dominated situation. So tell me, you know, how you came to feel like there was a place for you in this industry.
Initially, I didn't. I really wasn't trying to come into it initially. I just needed a job. So I applied for this. I applied for being a sheet metal worker through Local 33 union. And I applied to be an electrician. And both of those to me were things that I could do, because initially going in, I did not think that it was hard work. I was thinking, oh, so if these tests are so hard, it's really about knowledge and what you do on paper, then I should be good. I should be able to do this. And yeah, that's what I thought, right? So I applied for both, and the sheet metal workers called me back before the electricians did. And once they called me back, they had me take a test. And once I took my test, they called me the next day to start work. They were like, wow, you really did well on your test. So can you come to work next week? And so it really wasn't planned. It really wasn't something that I planned on doing it. And then I was gonna quit about a year in, not even a year into it. I really had planned on quitting. It was cold outside, and I thought it was gonna be an easy job because I thought it entailed a lot more paperwork or a lot more thinking, when in actuality I spent my first 5 days outside in the cold or the heat or whatever elements. And I didn't quit initially because I'm stubborn, and one of them here, one on the job, the only black person, almost always on the job. And this man said, oh, you're too girly, don't make it. And that is the reason I stayed, pretty much to prove him wrong. Yeah, I know it's crazy, right?
Not at all.
That's
not crazy.
It's not crazy. That was the stubborn part of me. And then, so my first year of working is when I found out about Lonnie Coleman. I didn't know who he was really, but I was working for a subcontractor of his as an apprentice, and I was thinking, oh wow, how cool, you know, a black-owned mechanical company, when all you see is people that don't look like me. So I thought it was kind of cool, but I had never met him. Fast forward to a few years later, and I met him, and he is just an amazing person.
Yeah, and there was even more to what Fatima had to say, but you know, I had to move it along, unfortunately, because there's so much that I had to cover. So Fatima, I apologize for not getting a whole piece down, but Lonnie, I'm gonna tell you, she gave you a whole lot of love and a whole lot of credit where the credit was due. So thank you, sir. But it doesn't stop there, because see, Lonnie finds it not only important to empower women and bring them aboard into this male-dominated situation, but also our students, especially from his alma mater, the Warrensville Heights High School. He's got a special affinity for Warrensville Heights High School, the place where, that basically made him. And he only spent a year here, a little over a year, played a little football and all that good stuff. His siblings, spent a little more time here. But in that time, he's grown to truly appreciate being a part of Warrensville, and he's proud to be a Tiger for life. So he's going to just basically tell you how he feels about vocational education.
You mentioned something that I really want to hit upon. You mentioned some of those vocational opportunities. It seems that there's a de-emphasis on vocational opportunities and more on college prep.
Right.
You chose at the time what was a conventional path, now deemed an unconventional path.
Right.
And I do believe that you have mentioned that possibly you would like to see us kind of bringing some of that that non-conventional path back into conventionalism,
right,
through the schools. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. What happened in our case, even when I was in school, the big emphasis was on college prep, and so everything was geared around that. But you still had technical schools. In Cleveland you had Max Hayes, East Tech, you had West Tech, and these schools taught tool and die, how to be a construction worker, ironworking, building trades, electronics, and that type of stuff. And then the factories in town would go into the schools and bring these kids into their organizations. You take Warner and Swayze at the time, they're big tool and die makers, and they would grab the kids out of East Tech, and they would had jobs when they graduated from school. They bring them in, do interns, and then they had jobs when they were done. Then we went through this period of time where we de-industrialized our communities. The General Motors used to be on Coit Road. You had Fisher Body. You had factories that were located right in the inner city, and then people could just get up and go walk to work. And then all of a sudden, they started moving out, and they moved out to the suburbs. So with the de-industrialization of the cities, then you started to see a de-industrialization of the schools. And so it went away, okay? And so now you have this trend with all the new building for schools that are taking place. Everyone is moving back to the vocational skills, because with the retirement of the baby boomers, we're losing a lot of skill sets that we could possibly have today if we had not deindustrialized our schools and then kept with the vocational training route, and so we can teach these kids these vocational skills. Because at one time, who wants to be a blue collar worker? Well, if you can make $125,000 a year, what's wrong with being a blue collar worker? So what's happening today in our organization, we pay a plumber and a pipe fitter $125,000 a year with benefits. That's instant middle class. That's a path to some real success. That's an opportunity to be able to do some things. That's an opportunity to send a kid to college. That's an opportunity to have some real growth and development in your life with comfort, okay? So, and so what I had tried to do was I would go back to Warrensville High School and speak to the senior class about vocational training, because I viewed it as an option. College is an option. Why can't vocational skills be an option as well? Because at the end of the day, you're talking about a good, well-paying job, so, and we're not taking, anything away from going to college. People can go to college and they can do a lot of things. Today, if you go into the building trades, okay, and then you go to a community college and get your prerequisites, your English, your history, or whatever they are today. Back when my day, it was English, history, and a math subject, would give you your prerequisite. But if you do that today, all of the hours for your apprenticeship would count toward that degree. So when you finish your 5-year apprenticeship or 4-year apprenticeship, and then you take the prerequisites, 2 or 3 courses, classes of those things that are prerequisite, you get your associate's degree. So not only do you have a vocational skill that can take you almost anywhere to work, you also have 2 years of an associate's degree, and it's all paid for. There's no debt associated or tied with that, okay? And then if you want to go on to get the other 2 years and get your undergrad degree, then it's the possibility for those that are driven to be able to do just that. And I think what you've done is you've created a better citizen for the country, someone that can step up, make a difference, and be about advancing things forward. And I think that's important. And I think we need to get back to those vocational skills, because some students maybe don't want to start college right away, want to do something different, or maybe there's some kids that just don't want to go to college. And here's an opportunity to be able to do something where you can use your hands and your mind to be able to have some growth and development in your life. And so I go back to Warrensville, and I was going back to teach, to talk to some of the young people to provide exposure, okay? Because a lot of times, you know, they don't know what a pipe fitter may be. I didn't know what a pipe fitter was when I went into the apprenticeship. All I knew was I was getting a summer job, and that was important because I could make some money. And then, you know, you learn and you're taught. But I mean, in my industry, there's 17 different trades out there, skilled trades that you have opportunities to do. And as I said earlier, because of the retirement of the baby boomers, now is a great time to be able to look at some of these blue collar vocational opportunities out there, because they are hurting for people in the United States. And it's a job that won't be imported, okay? I mean, exported. So it'll be here, okay? They're not bringing anybody in to do that for you. You're going to do it ourselves. And so, like I said, it's a well-paying job, and it's a great opportunity to be able to participate and do that. And so my thing is to try and provide that exposure to these students so that they know that there are other options. And that's what's important, because it's all an option to me. We have I created a book scholarship program at Warrensville Heights. And right now, the book scholarships goes to the ACE students from the ACE program that Arian Kirkpatrick brought to Warrensville Heights High School. And so we give $2,000 for books to a male and a female student for books when they go into college. And we've had this scholarship in place for quite some time, and I did it in the name of my mom and dad, who sent 5 kids to Warrensville Heights High School. And we had an individual, a young man, who had won the scholarship. And I do it through college now. They handle everything. They do the kids have to do an essay they'll write, and they'll make a selection, and then we'll get I've asked for a cap and gown picture so that we can, you know, display in our building to show some of the things that we're trying to do back in our community, and me, especially in my high school. And so I got a call from the young man that got the scholarship, and he says, I got on the phone and I said, hey Anthony, how are you? You know, he says, hey man, where's my money? I said, well, here's a teaching moment. And I said, what? And what happened was he hadn't transferred the money into his program. And so I said to him, I said, Anthony, I said, look, when you call someone, that's not how you talk. I say, you're not talking to one of your peers, and I understand. I say, we can switch, you know, but you should say, hello, Mr. Coleman, this is blah, 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 and I had not had the deposit of the dollars into the from the scholarship program into the school so that I can get my books. And I said to him, isn't that a much better way to do that? And he says, yeah, I understand. And he's young, okay. And so you're right, because you get this hip hop culture or whatever, you know, and they're just, you know, maybe not used to speaking to adults in that vein, or they're dealing with their peers all the time, and most of the time anyway. So I corrected him, and I said, well, okay, now, I don't control any of that. The dollars are there. Here's you have to call. You call this person, gave him a telephone number. And when you call her, it will be Miss such and such. My name is such and such, and I'm calling to find out where the dollars that's supposed to be deposited with the school, you know, where they may be. And if you could help me, and I said, you'll get down the road a lot farther with a conversation like that than other. Then I asked him, I said, well, would you like to, because with my scholarship, I tied to a summer job at the company as well. So you can come here and you can work for us in the summer. And I have not had anyone take us up on that opportunity, but that's available too. But I saw it as an opportunity and a chance to maybe mentor the young man and offer that. Okay, but there's never been a response to be able to, to be able to do that. But I've tried to offer, because we have a number of people in our building that you can be associated with and get some exposure and how to do things, and working with these young people, who knows what may rub off that's positive for them. But I love my high school, and I know that what my high school did for me, and I'd like to do some things for those students at Warrensville Heights High School and help them so that we can create maybe a better person. Who knows? What the potential is there and how far you can take it. But if you don't get involved, you'll never know. So you could give me a call, area code 216-431-8070, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you. I'll be more than happy to show you where to go. Or in my industry that we're working with, you could also call Pipefitters Local Union 120 in Cleveland, Ohio. They're on Halley Drive. Or you can call Plumbers Local 55. They're also in Independence. And you can call them and ask them, how do you go about picking up an application for the building trades? They will provide you with the information. I think the plumbers are open for applications once a month. I don't know what the pipefitters time frame is, but they'll tell you. The process may take 6 months, and it may take 9 months, but it's a process that if you go all the way through that and you get in, I guarantee you'll enjoy the opportunity that's presented to you, to become a journeyman pipe fitter or a journeyman plumber. You could go that route. They're out there to help you. They'll let you know when. There's a $20 application fee, to be able to pick up an application. They'll require a high school transcript or GED, as a part of the application process. You'll have a test. You'll take a test. It's administered by the Ohio Employment Services, I think. And there's an interview process too. They'll call you in for an interview probably a month or two after the test, and it could be 3 months. It depends on whether they're going to put a class on or not. And the classes that are put on are based on the work situation in that city or that local area. If there's a lot of work going on, yes, they're going to be putting on classes. If there's no work going on, then they might string you out for a year. But once you're in that process, don't give it up, because they will eventually call. And like I said earlier, with the retirement of baby boomers, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of openings for these types of jobs. But that's two ways to do it. But if you look up the Building Trades Council, that's another way, because there's about 17 different building trades to apply for. Now I speak about the plumbers and pipe fitters because that's what I know, and that's who we hire in our organization to be able to do something. And if I could help a young man or a young lady to be able to try and get an opportunity here with these local unions, please feel free to call me, okay? And I'll be more than happy to assist you in whatever way I can.
And what's that number again, sir?
My number is 216-431-8070. And it's Lonnie Coleman. And just let the secretary or the receptionist know that you saw the video and you'd like to speak with me about the opportunity.
There you have it. A CEO of a major company from a major player basically is throwing a lifeline out to your children, women. He's throwing a lifeline out to you as well, and any men too. I mean, he's not excluding men. It's just that he wants to give the notion that you can grow from this no matter who you are, no matter what your situation is, as long as you're willing to soak up the information, as long as you're willing to learn. There's a place for you at Coleman Spohn. So really appreciate that. I see you, Earl Baumgardner, but I'm sorry, brother, I can't get you on at this time. But I appreciate the fact that you you shared your video and everything in your tribute to Lonnie. So big shout out to you, but unfortunately I can't put you on at this time. We're going to end this episode, and this is the season finale, y'all. I'm going to take about four weeks off to kind of put some episodes together and make sure that they're ready to go. So I'm going to take about 4 weeks off and return in the 5th week and, start season 2. So for those of you who have supported me, just remember this. I love you. I appreciate everything that you've done to make me understand that this is a program of value, and I'm going to do my best to bring value to this neighborhood, to the people that make this neighborhood great. It's a testament to you. My hat's off to you, and I want to put a focus on what you're doing that's good in Warrensville. Final piece. Lonnie gonna talk about relationships and the importance of building them.
And you mentioned relationships and knowing people and all of that. And I tell my kids, so when they were growing up, I said, you want to make as many friends as you possibly can, because you never know. You never know, what's going to happen to people as they move on into their livelihoods. I didn't know Joe Regano was going to become a superintendent of Solon schools. He didn't know I was going to be a mechanical contractor in the industry. I tell my kids, you never, ever know, because you want to maintain those relationships. And I've been a big proponent of that. When I first started in business, I had my mentor tell me, says, Lonnie, you need to know the politicians, and you need to know the business community, and you need to find ways that you can get involved civically so you can build these types of relationships, because they will help you in business. And they have. They have helped us tremendously in business, just by knowing the right people, being able to have the right conversations, being in the same room with the right people when things are going on. And these people have, if they embrace you, then they can help you become members of the community and being able to make a difference in your community. And we've been fortunate in being able to do that. But I preach that to my kids, man. You gotta get involved, and you gotta create these relationships and build these friendships. Now, everybody's not gonna be a friend, okay? so but where you can do that, you do that, okay?
This is Coleman, in pursuit, code 33. Understood. I'm westbound, just crossed my bridge to success. Dispatch, do you copy? I know. Tell Gentili I'll be there in 5. I ran into a little hurdle with my script for the president's remarks. The ups and downs of the contracting business. Oh, man, that was close. Closer than Mark Rogers' haircut. San Francisco, but I'm gonna love this dim sun in a minute. All right, got my stuff. Man, I love San Francisco. Come on, John, give me a break. Don't you know where I am? I'll be there. No, there's no problem with my president's remarks. I just have to finish one bullet.
Coming at your mouth with your blah blah blah.
Just you and me, simple and free. Baby, you're everything I ever dreamed of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Man, where the heck am I at? I hope my bonding agent doesn't find out about this. Hey! Give me back my script! Or at least tell me which way to the Marriott.
Facilities management.
In 1976, a small construction and facilities management company named Cole-John Corporation established its reputation by providing high-quality solutions to governmental agencies such as NASA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the United States Air Force, Army, and Navy. Its growth and development has enabled the Cole-John Corporation to soar to new heights, transforming into the Coleman-Spohn Corporation, an integrated engineering, fabrication, construction and maintenance solutions organization, serving diverse industries, both in the government and private sector.
Construction.
Coleman-Spohn Corporation is a state-of-the-art, full-service contracting organization, providing estimating services, installation, and service maintenance of building systems throughout the construction industry for public and private clientele.
Disaster recovery.
Property owners, insurance professionals, and risk managers are confident that when they turn to Coleman-Spohn Corporation, top-quality contractors will be working to restore their properties to their pre-loss condition quickly and professionally.